my name's Liz, I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new, and welcome back if you are a subscriber. As always, it's really lovely to have you here as I share my sewing journey. So welcome back to another episode of my Sunday Sewing Catch Up, and we are on episode 28. Today's video is going to be a roundup of everything that I've been sewing. I've got a few patterns to share, and then I've got a fabric subscription box thing to talk about too. Before I get into that and before I tell you what I'm wearing, I just wanted to say sorry if anybody experienced any technical difficulties with my last video in terms of the sound. I had a couple of comments and a couple of messages over on Instagram just to say that the sound kept dipping in and out, so apologies for that. I'm not quite sure what was going on. I've tested this sort of video, I've road tested my video today. I filmed a few chunks and checked that the sound quality is okay, and it seems to be okay so far. But I'm really sorry about that. It must have been a little bit annoying. I'm not quite sure why. I hadn't changed anything or done anything different, so apologies for that. Hopefully today there should be no sound issues at all, but thank you for getting in touch and letting me know about that. I've just had a bit of a sort of tidy up and a clean of the equipment that I used, just to make sure there wasn't any dust or anything impacting on the sound quality. So hopefully today's video should be much better. But thank you as always for all your likes and comments and shares. I really do appreciate it, so thank you for getting in touch. I had caught up on all my comments of vlogs before Christmas. I think I had about 30 videos that I needed to reply to comments. I've got about 4 videos now that I need to reply to comments, and I will get back to all of you. If you ever have a question where you'd like the answer sort of within a couple of days, please do head over to my Instagram page, because I reply quicker over there than I do on my YouTube channel, just because it's a bit more instant. So if you've got any burning questions that you'd like answering, just send me a DM over on Instagram and I will get back to you quicker than I do on my YouTube channel. But I'm getting much better at replying to comments. So thank you as always for coming back. So I am wearing quite an old make. This is the Gimlet boiler suit by Our Lady of Leisure Patterns. The fold line stock this pattern, and I'll pop it in the description below if you haven't seen it. I absolutely love it. I think I've made 4 versions of this boiler suit. And I love a boiler suit. Apart from the inconvenience of having to strip almost naked when you go to the loo, I really love a boiler suit. I love that it's just a throw-on outfit in one. I find them super comfortable. This one, it looks like it's got pockets here, but they're actually fake pockets. It's just flaps that you attach. It's got a collar and a collar stand underneath. It's got 3/4 length sleeves, which suit me perfectly, and even with these, sometimes I shove them up a little bit. And then it's got a button down placket on the bodice, and then the bodice stops. If I stand up, I'll show you. It's got a little belt as well. I would say you need the belt because it's quite roomy. So it's got pockets, and then you probably can't see it because of the busyness of the fabric, but there is an actual waistband here. So the button placket stops here, and then you've got the waistband. And this is sort of my natural waist, and that's where the waistband sits. Now, just to say, when I sewed this up first, I noticed that the bodice sits quite high on me, so I ended up adding about 2 inches to the bodice. I'm 5'5½", and I needed to do that. I don't know if I've got a long torso or something, but I definitely needed to add 2 inches. And all my versions since then, I've added 2 inches to the bodice, just to give me an extra bit of room, wiggle room to get in and out, because I found it a bit of a squeeze getting in and out of it otherwise. And then with the belt, I also had to sort of lengthen the pattern piece of the belt, because I found that it wasn't long enough for me to be able to fasten at the front. So that was my experience of sewing up the pattern. I do love it because I've sewn it about 4 times now, but I had to make some adjustments to make it fit more comfortably on my body. So if I stand up again, the belt is sort of sewn onto the back here, you can just see, and then you pull it round, and I just fasten it off to the side, just like that, and it just brings it in ever so slightly. It's super duper comfortable. I absolutely love wearing these. I've worn it to work before. Stand up so you can see the length. I have got my slippers on, you can just see, and yeah, it's really, really roomy and super duper comfortable. I've worn this to work before. I think I shared in a video probably about a year ago. I wore it to work, and then I was knelt on the floor reading to some children, and I bent over and I must have had my trouser, the back part of my sort of trousers in my bottom area pulled quite tight, because I bent over and I just heard this split noise, and I ended up splitting my the trouser bit near my bottom. Luckily I had a hoodie in the cupboard, so I had to then spend the rest of the day with a hoodie fastened around me until I could get home and get changed. And then I did a bit of a repair job. I love wearing this. This is in a sort of fine needle cord that I got as a D-stash, and I really love the pattern and the print. It's this gorgeous like floral ditzy print that's got a white background and then red, yellow and blue flowers. I just absolutely love it. Bit of a sort of Liberty print vibe going on, and it just feels really comfortable to wear as well. So that is what I'm wearing today. As I said, it's episode 28 of my Sunday sewing catch up, and I've got lots of things to share with you. So the first thing I'll share with you is an update on my quilted fabric that I shared in last Sunday's sewing catch up. So I'll just grab it. So here it is, all quilted and ready to be turned into a boxy coat. I'll see if I can stand up and show you. I ended up overlocking, I don't know if you can see, I ended up overlocking the edge just to keep it neat, and I had lots and lots of sort of threads from when I was quilting the fabric, so I overlocked it just to keep it all nice and neat. Obviously I will be cutting into this fabric to turn it into a boxy jacket. So I worked out I've got about 1 metre by 1.5 metres of this fabric. So if I hold it up, this is what it looks like, all completely quilted now. So that's the whole piece. I absolutely love how sort of higgledy-piggledy it looks. And then I've started putting on the sort of sequin fabric for the rainbow fish sparkly glittery scales, and then on the back you can see it's just the gingham, and then you've got all of the narrow quilting going down. And then what I decided to do the other way was just do some wavy lines. So you can see that I've done lots of wavy lines going down that way, and then I've got all the really narrow lines going that way. It doesn't feel too sort of firm. There is a bit of movement to the fabric, but I want it to be quite a boxy jacket, and I think the way that this fabric is, it's going to give me that look that I'm going for. So the pattern that I've decided to go for is the Ilford jacket by Friday Pattern Company, and I'm going to talk about that pattern at the end of this video. It's got a collar. I'm not going to do buttons and buttonholes down the front because I don't want it to actually fasten, but I am going to do the oversized patch pockets on the front as well, and I'm really, really excited about getting this turned into that. So I laid out my fabric yesterday with the pattern pieces. They've all been traced off, but I've realised sadly that I haven't got enough of the fabric. So I've ended up putting together more of the fabric, and it just needs to be quilted. And then that's going to be the sleeve. So I might do the quilting lines slightly wider for the sleeve fabric. It's going to have the same patchwork look like it has here, all higgledy-piggledy. And I'm going to be putting on some more of the sequins as well. I decided when I was adding sequins onto this fabric that actually once I've cut out the pattern pieces, then I'm going to add a bit more sequins onto that, just so I can make sure that they're positioned in the right place. So I've only added a few sort of scraps of that sequin fabric. I haven't done it for everything. I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. The reason I ended up doing, you can probably see there better, really narrow lines from top to bottom was because the technique that I used for creating the patchwork fabric was, I followed a video that I saw over on YouTube. I'll link it down below if you haven't seen it, but there was a lady that used all of her scraps and she ironed them onto a big piece of interfacing, and then she put wadding and some fabric underneath and then quilted it together. And I've done exactly the same. I didn't finish any of the edges of the scraps. And the main reason I didn't do that was because they were all different shapes and sizes, and I really like that irregular size of the scraps. And then choosing to quilt it with really narrow lines means that you don't get any of that fraying. I've got an overlock thread that I need to sort out. You don't get any of the fraying from the fabric scraps because they're really held in place by those really narrow lines. I was a little bit hesitant. I wasn't sure how it would turn out because I didn't finish any of those sort of fabric scrap sides or edges. But I really like how sort of higgledy-piggledy and ragged some of those edges are. Like some of the pieces are tiny, like this piece here, and some of them are quite big, like this piece here. And I really like the difference in the size of all the different scraps. So it's finished. I absolutely loved putting it together and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I just need to now quilt. I think I've got another metre of the fabric that I'm going to be creating, and then I can start cutting out my Ilford jacket and sewing it up together. Because it's already lined with the gingham fabric, I'm going to finish the edges with some bias binding. And I've been watching lots of videos on how to do that with sort of a really lovely neat finish. So I'm really excited about finishing the inside of my jacket with the bias binding as well. I think it'll give a really lovely neat finish and a really cool thing to do with my fabric scraps. So I'm very, very excited about my Ilford jacket that's going to be created using all of the fabric scraps. And then yesterday I decided to have a sewing day. So my children were busy with their own hobbies and also catching up with friends. And they're old enough now to not need me all of the time. So it meant that I could shut myself away in my sewing space and I had a whole day of sewing. So I started off by cutting out lots of projects. I wasn't sure how many things I'd get sewn up, but I did use patterns that are tried and tested. I didn't need to trial any of them. I know that they fit me really well, so I could just really enjoy the sewing process. And I managed to get 3 things finished. I also managed to piece together the second quilting fabric. So I've ironed it all onto interfacing. I've clipped it with the wadding in the middle and the gingham fabric on the back. I just need to sew the quilting lines, which is something that I can do this week because it's quite a straightforward thing to do. And then I also managed to sew up most of a Nina Lee Bakerloo dress. So I'll start with the first pattern that I got sewn up actually, and I'll just grab it. And then the other lovely thing that I feel really proud of myself for is I used lots of fabrics that I had in my stash and fabrics that I've chosen as my Make 9. So I've managed to complete nearly 4 projects from my Make 9 for 2022, which is so much better than how I got on last year. So I think choosing fabrics has been really motivating for me and I'm really pleased with what I've managed to sew. So the first one was using this amazing Ruby Star Society tiger print fabric, which is a rayon fabric with these amazing tigers. And they remind me of the Tiger Who Came to Tea, which is a picture book that we use at school. So I'm going to wear this tomorrow and I'm going to read the story at story time to the children and then tell them about how this tiger print really reminds me of the tiger in the story. So I'm really excited about that. It's in a really lovely, bright, vibrant pink colour. And I went for the Friday Pattern Company Sagebrush top. The main reason I went for this one is because I like how the front is one piece, one pattern piece that you cut on the fold. So I knew it wouldn't distort that tiger print. And then the same with the back. I know that you've got the yoke and you've got the ruffle and you've got the yoke on the back as well. But I just thought it would really showcase that tiger print and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. The Friday Pattern Company Sagebrush top is a top that I've sewn up loads of times. I've probably got about 10 versions of the Sagebrush top. So I knew it was a pattern that would fit me. I knew that I didn't need to make any adjustments to it. And also a pattern that I've sewn up quite a few times. So a lot of the techniques in the pattern weren't too fiddly because I'd sewn it up quite a few times before. So I was quite familiar with the pattern. It's by Friday Pattern Company. It comes in sizes extra small up to 7X. So for an extra small, it's a bust measurement of 32 to 33 inches, a waist measurement of 24 to 25 inches, and a hip measurement of 34 to 35 inches. And then a 7X is 59 to 60 inch bust measurement, 52 to 53 inch waist measurement, and 62 to 63 inch hip measurement. I find the line drawings for you just so you can see what it looks like, and I'll put pictures in of me wearing my finished blouse as well. But it's got this gorgeous ruffle on the front. You finish the neck with bias binding, and I made bias binding using the same fabric. Gorgeous voluminous sleeves that are finished with an elastic, and then you've got this gathering underneath the ruffle, which is absolutely beautiful. I will hold up my version. I'm thrilled with how it's turned out. Here we go. It's got this gorgeous ruffle on the front. You can just make out the gathering underneath the ruffle. I have pressed it so the gathering sits a little bit flatter than it would normally, and then you've got these enormous sleeves which I just absolutely love, and they drape so beautifully in that lovely rayon fabric, and then it's just finished with some elastic here as well. I absolutely love it. The neckline is finished with bias binding, which is the same fabric as the top, and then you've got this gorgeous little bow detail on the back as well. And then you've got that yoke detail on the back, and then you've got the yoke detail on the front, and I absolutely love it. I think it's going to be a really fun thing to wear to school. I think the children are going to really love spotting all of the tigers, And I've said this before, but my class is actually called Tiger Class, and we've got a couple of tiger teddies that get sent home with the children, and they'll come back to school tomorrow. So I'm going to wear this tomorrow. Not quite sure what I'm going to wear it with. I've got a Camden skirt, which is in a navy needle cord, so I might wear this with that because I think it'll look quite cute tucked into that Camden skirt. So I'm really pleased that I've got this fabric sewn up. I was quite nervous to cut into it. I think just because I know that I can't get this fabric anymore, and I just really loved it. But I'm pleased now that it's not sat in my fabric stash. It's now going to sit in my wardrobe as a wearable garment. So that was the first thing that I got sewn up. And then the next two things that I got sewn up are using the same pattern, and it's a pattern I've talked about loads on my channel. I absolutely love it. It is the Anna Allen Anthea blouse, and I've sewn up a blouse and I've also sewn up the dress. I'll put pictures of me wearing both of them so you can see what they look like. I don't have the pattern in front of me, I'm sorry about that. So I can't show you line drawings, but I can put in line drawings for you. So I'll start with the blouse version that I've got sewn up. And if you've watched my Make 9 video for 2022, I talked about this fabric being turned into the Anthea blouse. I knew 100% that this fabric was destined to become an Anthea blouse. It's this gorgeous gauze fabric that I got from New Craft House. I always go to say Fabric Godmother. It's got these gorgeous metallic dots all over them that have been embroidered into the fabric. If I show you on the back, you'll be able to see it better. They're absolutely beautiful, and it's such a lovely subtle detail to the fabric. There's like a bronze dot, silver, and then gold, and they're all over the fabric. It's a slightly off-white gauze, ever so slightly off-white. I absolutely love the Anthea blouse. All of the things that I've sewn this weekend have got big sleeves, which I'm absolutely loving. This pattern, you don't have elastic to finish it, but it's gathered into this gorgeous cuff. With this pattern, it's got that gorgeous voluminous sleeve, which I think works really well with this gauze fabric. The neckline is finished in the same way as the Sagebrush top. You finish it with bias binding, and I've used the same fabric as the top to make the bias binding, and I love that detail. And then it's got buttons all the way down, and I had a look in my stash, and I had the most perfect buttons that I got from Felicity Fabrics ages ago. They do beautiful buttons on their website. So they're gold buttons, and they've got this heart detail on them, and I think they go really well with that fabric. And then that is the hem. It's got a slightly curved hem, which you can see. So again, I'm really pleased that I've got another of my Make 9 fabrics sewn up. And again, with this fabric, I was really nervous to cut into it. Again, because it's a dead stock fabric, I was nervous to cut into it because I knew that I couldn't get any more of it. So if I made a mistake, I wouldn't be able to get any more fabric to correct my mistake. But I took my time, really enjoyed sewing this up. And it's a really beautiful blouse, which I think is going to really add to my wardrobe. I can see this going with quite a lot of things that I've got, like the Camden skirt. I think it'll go with pinafores that I've got, and my dungarees that I've got as well. And then I'm also in the process of toiling some jeans, so I think this will go really nicely with the jeans that I'm toiling as well. So another beautiful blouse to add to my wardrobe, and another beautiful fabric that's been sewn up from my stash. So that's Make 2 of my Make 9 for 2022. And then the third make that's completely finished, it's the same pattern, so the Anna Allen Anthea blouse, but I sewed up the dress version, and it's made using this gorgeous, I think this was a viscose. It's either a viscose or a rayon, I couldn't quite remember. And I got it from Hey So Sister. If I remember correctly, it's a dead stock from Pigeon Wishes, and it is this fabric that's got the cheetahs all over it. I think they're cheetahs. I'm rubbish at remembering what type of animal they are. And it's got the naked ladies all over it. And they're all sort of different ways up. So it did look temporarily like I'd sewn it upside down, but some of the animals are upside down. I absolutely love this fabric. I think it's a really fun fabric. I love the colour combination of that navy blue with the sort of rust coloured animals, and then the ladies all over it. Because you don't initially notice that they're naked. It's only when you look closely that you see that they're naked ladies on the back of an animal. I sewed up the dress version, and I'm really pleased with it. I had lots and lots of suggestions when I shared this fabric in my Make 9 video about turning it into a shirt dress, and I'm really pleased that I have turned it into a shirt dress. I think it's going to work beautifully for this pattern. And then I just had some orange buttons in my stash, and I think they work really nicely with the colour of the fabric. So I'll hold it up so you can see. It's got the gorgeous voluminous sleeves, and then they finish with a cuff. And then it's got a slightly curved hem, if I hold it up, slightly curved hem. And then with this dress, you also get a belt pattern piece as well. So I've sewn up the belt just to bring it in at the waist. I love this pattern. If you haven't made it, it's a really straightforward pattern. Instructions really hold your hand, and it comes together really nicely. Not too many pattern pieces either. And then the neckline, similar to the blouse, is finished with bias binding, and I just used the same fabric as I used for the main dress as well. So that's make number 3, completely finished. All 4 if you include the quilted fabric. And then the next garment that I've been sewing up, it's not finished yet, but it is nearly finished. I just need to sew the bias binding on the neckline. I need to add a button, and then I need to hem it, and then it's completely finished. And it's using another of my Make 9 fabrics. So I seem to be on a roll this weekend with my Make 9 fabrics. It's this gorgeous, I think it was a twill fabric. It might be a viscose twill that I got from Sew Me Sunshine. Absolutely love the colours in this fabric. I love that bright pink with the green, and then the purple stripes running through it. And then it's got a narrow orange stripe running through it too. Just absolutely love it. I had lots of suggestions when I shared this fabric in my Make 9 vlog. A couple of people suggested the Nina Lee Bakerloo blouse and dress, and that's exactly what I've gone for, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out so far. So this is the Bakerloo blouse and dress. So you can sew up a blouse, or you can sew up the dress, and then there's an option for long sleeves, or you can do short sleeves that finish at the elbow. I have gone for the dress version with this amazing big collar, and then I've sewn the long sleeves because I see this as a dress that I would wear in the winter when it's quite chilly, because it's quite a weighty fabric. I think it's a medium weight fabric, and it feels really lovely and cozy and warm. So I think I needed long sleeves really. So the Nina Lee Bakerloo blouse and dress comes in 2 size bandings. So you get a UK 6 to 20 or a UK 16 to 28. For a UK 6, it's a bust measurement of 32 inches, a waist measurement of 24 inches, and a hip measurement of 33.5 inches. And then for a UK 28, it's a 52-inch bust, 45-inch waist, and a 55-inch hip measurement. It's got this gorgeous statement collar, you can just see here, which is amazing. I absolutely love this collar. And then it's got the most beautiful sort of cuff detail, which you gather using elastic. And then you've got a gathered skirt on it too, and there's bust darts. It's got a really lovely detail on the back, which it's almost like a keyhole opening on the back, and then you finish it with a rouleau loop and a button. So that's what I need to do. I've got the rouleau loop attached. I just need to choose a button. Everything else is done apart from hemming it as well. I think it's going to work so nicely in this fabric. So thank you to everybody that encouraged me to use the Bakerloo dress for this beautiful fabric. It's still clipped and pinned and things, so just excuse all of that. You can see around the neckline it's still clipped and pinned and things. But this is what it's looking like so far. It's going to be a bit tricky to hold it up just because it's still sort of clipped, which is adding a little bit of weight to the neckline. So I'll see if I can hold it up. This is what that amazing collar looks like. I absolutely love it. I love it with that ruffle. On a couple of my versions that I've sewn up for this dress and blouse, I have opted for a contrast ruffle, but for this dress, I just wanted this beautiful fabric to speak for itself. So I ended up just using the same fabric for the beautiful ruffle that goes all the way round the back. You can see that I've got my rouleau loop there. I just need to stitch a button on that side. It's all clipped because I've got the bias binding here. I just need to stitch it down in place. If I stand up, you'll be able to see it hopefully a little better. And if I do get it finished this evening, I may get a photo of it so I can pop that in. But this is what it's looking like so far. Got that beautiful gathered skirt here. And then the sleeves are my favourite part. They're really voluminous and absolutely gorgeous, and they sit really nicely in this fabric. And then what I love the most is that detail at the end. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. So you use a facing on the inside. You attach the facing on the outside first and then press it on the inside. And then you stitch 2 layers of stitching. I don't know if you can see there. And you create a little channel which you feed the elastic into, and then it creates this gorgeous sort of gathering on that cuff. I think it's such a gorgeous feature of this dress pattern. I just absolutely love that. It's so beautiful. And then obviously I've got the same on the other side too. So it's almost finished. I just need to hem it and then stitch the bias binding for the neckline and then choose a button. I'm going to find it really tricky to choose a button. I don't know whether to go with the purpley pink colour or whether to pick out that green, because I've got purple button and I've also got green buttons in my stash. So let me know down below what button you would go for. But how beautiful is that fabric? I just absolutely love the colours, and I love that check design as well. And then on the back, I worked really hard to make sure that I pattern matched on the back. So I'm just going to hold it up so you can see. And I've got pattern matching all the way across that back bodice, which I'm really pleased with. It's going to be tricky to hold it up all the way across because the back bodice is cut as 2 pieces, and then you create this keyhole opening. And I'm really, really pleased. I took my time with pattern matching on the back. And then also I really love, it was a complete fluke, but I really love the way that the collar sits on the front. I think it looks really nice with the front bodice piece as well. So I'm hoping I can get that finished so I can wear that to school this week, maybe on Thursday or Friday when I'm out of class and I'm not teaching. The other thing to say with this pattern is there is an option to include pockets, but I didn't want to distort the skirt in any way at all. And this fabric is quite a weighty fabric, so I decided actually with this dress not to include pockets, and I'm really pleased. I like the silhouette of the dress without the pockets. And I wouldn't want to put anything in my pockets with this dress because I wouldn't want it to sort of pull down at the sides. But I'm really, really pleased with how this is turning out. So thank you so much for all of your thoughts on what to do with that fabric. I'm really pleased that I decided to go with the Bakerloo dress. So thank you so much for all of your feedback. Then, the final thing I've been putting together, which I've talked about already, is the second piece of my quilted fabric. So you can see it's all clipped together at the moment. So I've got the quilted sort of pieces with all of the scraps together, and then I've got the layer of wadding, and then I've got the gingham fabric as well. So I'm looking forward to this week getting that fabric all sewn up. It's done in exactly the same way as the other fabric, and I really like all the higgledy-piggledy sort of scrap pieces. I think that that's going to look really lovely. And then I also had, I'm probably not going to be able to show you, but I had some scrap bits of this gold brocade fabric. So I've included some of that as well, just to add an extra bit of sparkle. So that's going to be a project that I get stitched this week. I'm just going to do the lines. So I'm going to do quite narrow lines again, although not as narrow as the first quilted piece of fabric, and then wavy lines going the other way. And then hopefully I can get my Ilford jacket cut out. So that's all of the things that I've been getting sewn up this week. I was really fortunate to have a whole day yesterday to do lots and lots of sewing, and I managed to get lots of things sewn up using tried and tested patterns that I knew really well. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about was the Ilford jacket, which is a Friday Pattern Company pattern. I've seen so many gorgeous versions over on Instagram, and I ordered this over Christmas and it has arrived. I am really excited about using this pattern with the quilted fabric. I think it's going to work beautifully and give me that really boxy, oversized look that I've got in my head. The Ilford jacket is a unisex pattern, so you can sew up for men, you can also sew it up for women. So these are the line drawings. You can do a cropped jacket, or you can do a jacket that sits, it's hard to tell actually, what does it say on the back? It says the Ilford jacket's a versatile style that's modular design makes it simple yet impactful. It features drop shoulders and comes with 2 sleeve options, a placketed sleeve with cuff and an easy to sew boxy sleeve for a more relaxed vibe. So I'm going with the easy to sew boxy sleeve because I want that quite relaxed look. It includes 2 lengths as well as a bunch of pocket templates so you can mix and match. And it's a full, it's a fun skill building pattern that you will want to make and wear again and again. It's unisex and will look great no matter what your gender identity. So this is the length of the longer jacket, and then this is the length of the shorter jacket. I'm going to do the collar, but I'm not going to sew on buttons or buttonholes. And then in terms of pockets, I'm going to be sewing on, and you can't tell, but I'm going to be sewing on patch pockets, which are on this line drawing here. It comes in sizes extra small up to extra, extra large. So for a chest measurement of an extra small, it's 32 to 33 inches, a waist measurement of 24 to 25 inches, and a hip measurement of 34 to 35 inches. And then for an extra, extra large, it's 44 to 46 inch chest measurement, 36 to 39 inch waist measurement, and 46 to 49 inch hip measurement. In terms of the fabric, what does it say for fabric? Let me get the booklet. In terms of fabric for the Ilford jacket, it says it's designed for wovens and can be made from a wide variety of fabrics. For a boxier look, go for a lightweight canvas, linen, denim or corduroy, and it looks amazing in a drapey woven. When sewn up in a flannel, it's the perfect fall layering piece. The design lines of this pattern are simple enough that you have room to experiment with fabrics you may not have worked with before. So I think it's going to work really nicely for my quilted fabric. This is a closer detail of what the longer jacket looks like. And then we've got the shorter jacket, and this looks like it's sewn up in a flannel version, which is absolutely beautiful. And then on the inside, we've got a close-up of the line drawings. So this is the version I'm going for, but I'm doing the simple sleeves. I'm not going to do the placket. And yeah, I'm doing the cropped version, and then I'm going to do patch pockets, and they're quite large patch pockets, which I think will work perfectly. And it's a jacket that I really want to wear to school because it's been inspired by the Rainbow Fish storybook, which I'll put a picture in if you're not sure what that storybook is. So that's the first thing I wanted to share in terms of pattern. The next thing I wanted to share with you today was a seasonal sewing box, which has come from Hey Sew Sister. This was a Christmas present that my husband ordered for me. He ordered it back in November because I kept going on and on and on about wanting one of these, and then it arrived mid-January. I absolutely love it. They did a seasonal sewing box in the autumn, and then this is the winter box. And then I'm guessing there'll be a spring box and then a summer box. So within the box, you get a pattern, fabric. So it's an indie pattern. You get the fabric to go with the pattern. You get the thread and all of the haberdashery items that you need to go with the pattern that's included. And then you also get a gift from an indie business. The pattern is aimed at confident beginners. And I absolutely love the pattern that's come in the box. If you order the box and it comes with a pattern that you've already got, you just email them, let them know that you've already got that pattern, send it back completely unopened, and then they'll send you a pattern of your choice. So I'm just going to open the box for you. I have opened it and looked at it, and I absolutely love what has arrived in this month's, or not this month's, seasonal box. It's not a subscription that you are tied into. It's something that you can purchase as a one-off. And then the spring one, I'm going to have to think of what occasion I would like the spring box for, because it's the perfect gift, and I'm really excited about this. So you get a little sort of typed, I love this because it looks like it's been typed on a typewriter, quite vintagey sort of feel. You get a little sort of blurb detailing what the box is. So it's called Staying In to Sew, and it's the Winter 2022 seasonal sewing box. Happy New Year, and then just lots of information about what's in the box. So the pattern that's been included is a new pattern to me, but I'm really excited about sewing it up, and it's chalk to notch patterns, and it is the Page hoodie, which is aimed at beginners. It comes in sizes 0 to 30 with 2 bust cup options. Just love the look of that. I think it looks so cozy and snuggly and warm. These are the line drawings on the back. So there's a view A and a view B and a view C. So by the looks of things, view A has got a hemband and then cuffs on the sleeves. And then all of them have got this drawstring hood. View B has got like a drawstring on the hem. And then view C looks like it's a cropped with short sleeves. I'm probably going to go for view B, which has got this drawstring on the bottom, drawstring on the top, and then long sleeves. I think it's beautiful. In terms of sizes, for a 0, it's a high bust of 30 inches, a full bust AB cup 32 inches, a full bust CD cup 34 inches, waist measurement of 25 inches, and a hip measurement of 35 inches. And then for a size 30, it's a high bust of 54 inches, a full bust AB cup 56 inches, full bust CD cup 58 inches, waist measurement of 49 inches and a hip measurement of 59 inches. It's a style that's designed for medium weight, 50 to 75% stretch knit fabric with good recovery. Jersey is recommended for the hood lining if using fleece or thick knit for the mane. If your fabric has less than 50% stretch or less than 90% recovery, it's recommended to use rib knit for the bands and cuffs. And recommended fabrics are French terry, fleece and jersey. You also need a small piece of tricot, I don't know how to say that, TRICOT, fusible interfacing, 2 meters of drawstring for the hood, 2 meters of drawstring for the hem, and then 4 1/4-inch grommets for this section on the hood, and then also this if you do version B. In the box you also get these gorgeous little baby bow scissors, which are Merchant and Mills. You can never have too many pairs of scissors when you're dressmaking. I'll get these out just to show you. They are so cute, and they're teeny tiny, and I think they'd be perfect for snipping off little threads and things. They'll come in handy for my quilting fabric too. And then you get this gorgeous little bag. I have ripped open the little bag full of all of the sort of haberdashery items and things that you need to go with the pattern. So in here you get the eyelets that you need for the drawstring on the neck where the hood is, and also on the waistband if you're choosing to use that. And you also get the drawstring sort of thread. You've also got some forest green cuffing, and then you also get the thread that you need to go with the fabric that you've got. And then you also get this gorgeous Hey So Sister label to sew into your finished garment. I'm just going to pop it all back. Oh, and then you also get the interfacing that you need to go with it too, which I think is just such a lovely touch. I love that you get everything you need to get going with this pattern. Pop it all back in there. And then the fabric is this gorgeous sort of wiggly, wavy lined, let me check what type of fabric it is. It's an organic cotton sweatshirting. It's got an abstract swirly print, and then there's a drawstring hem with the pattern, which just elevates the hoodie. I think it's beautiful. So this is the fabric. It's in a forest green. It's got all that wavy abstract design all over it. And then on the inside of the fabric, it's so soft. It's like a fleece lining. It's going to feel so cozy as a hoodie. So I'm really excited about sewing that up. It's not a fabric I would have chosen. It's not a pattern I would have chosen either, but I absolutely love both the pattern and the fabric, and I'm really excited about sewing up that hoodie. I'm not sure when I'm going to sew it up, but I feel like I need to sew it up in the next couple of weeks. But I've been really pleased with what arrived in the seasonal sewing box from Hey So Sister. There's loads of care that's gone into it. I love that you get everything you need to get going with that pattern as well, including the fabric and all the different bits and bobs haberdashery items. And the scissors are just a really lovely touch as well. I can't remember off the top of my head how much it was, but I'll put an image in that says how much the seasonal sewing box was. But I'm delighted with it, and I'm really excited about sewing up that pattern. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is a pattern printing company that I've mentioned before on my channel, and it's the company Fabuloso. I've used them for pattern printing, but I didn't realise that they printed out pattern booklets too. The lovely Tamlin, who is sewn on the Tyne, shared this I think over on her Instagram stories, that they actually printed the pattern booklets as well if you needed them to. So I headed over to their website and checked them out, and it's £2.50 to get the pattern booklet printed, which I think is actually really reasonably priced. I think it would end up costing a lot more if I ended up printing it at home with the price of the ink. I think ink is quite expensive. They print them in colour as well, which I think makes the price even better. So I've got 4 pattern booklets printed. The first one is the Friday Pattern Company Saltwater Slip. It's £2.50 per booklet, and you just upload the file onto the website and then complete the order as you would normally. And it comes all folded up, stapled together as well. And like I said, in colour, which I think is brilliant. So I'm really pleased that I've got some little pattern booklets to go with my patterns that I've had printed as PDF. And I've been looking for a company that printed the pattern booklets as a little booklet to go with my PDF pattern printing. And I didn't realise that this was the service that Fabuloso offered. So thank you, Tamlin, for sharing this on your Instagram, because I wouldn't have known. And then I've got the Marie shirt and shirt dress by Hand London. Again, printed in colour. One thing I will say with this pattern is the writing is quite teeny tiny, but hopefully I'll be able to read it. And then I've got 2 Cocoa Crafts booklets printed as well. This one is the plum dress, which I've shared already, and then this one is the nutmeg trench. So I have just been using my laptop with the instructions just there, but I do prefer having a booklet printed so I can make notes and annotate any sort of tweaks that I make to the pattern. It's really good quality, and it's printed really nicely and you get these gorgeous little booklets. So I'm going to pop these with my printed and well-used patterns, because I've sewn all of these patterns. Apart from these two, I've sewn my Kokawawa patterns. So I just thought I'd let you know, if you were looking for a company that printed the pattern booklet, really speedy service as well from them. So the next thing I wanted to share with you is some really exciting news. So a while ago, Backstitch put out a call for anybody to apply to be an ambassador for them. And what that means is you would get sent some fabric and a pattern of your choice, and then you would write a blog for them. Then as part of the role, also just to help promote the shop, share any sales that they've got going on or anything over on their Instagram page. I very fortunately was chosen to be a Backstitch ambassador, along with 7 other lovely ladies that I follow over on Instagram who are really inspiring. And I'm going to list off who they are in a second. But I'm really excited to be given this opportunity to blog for Backstitch. They've got a great website packed full of loads of different crafty things, not just for sewing, but there's loads of wool and haberdashery things over on their website too. I had a really hard time choosing fabric and a pattern over on their website, because they've got so many beautiful fabrics and so many wonderful patterns. I'm going to talk about what I'm going to blog for them in a second, but I just thought I'd let you know who else is going to be a Backstitch ambassador. So I've got a list of the ladies. I am going to look down because I don't want to get their Instagram handles incorrect, and I will link all of their Instagram pages in the description below as well. But I'm going to be blogging alongside the lovely Laura, who is the Specky Seamstress, Sue, who is Susan Young Sewing, Gemma, who is the Daily Thread, Abigail, who is Sew Abigail, Emma, who is the lovely Sew Do It Emma, Abby at Thread of Life, and then Susanna at Seams_that_way. So I'm really excited to see what they get up to and what they blog for Backstitch. I'm really excited to see what patterns and what fabrics they've chosen too. But for me, I'm not going to share the fabric yet, but I have chosen a pattern by I Am Patterns. I've got a couple of their patterns. I've got the I Am Apollon jumper, which is a men's pattern. I've got the I Am Joy blouse pattern as well. I've wanted to sew up jeans for absolutely ages. Fitting them scares me ever so slightly, but I thought it'd be a really interesting blog because I can share my experiences. I'm also going to vlog sort of my experience using the pattern and the fabric and sewing them up, and any adjustments that I need to make to the pattern as well. And then I'll share that almost as sort of a chatty sew along. I am going to toile the pattern, so I'll update you in my Sunday Sewing catch up how I'm getting on with that as well. But I got this pattern from Backstitch as part of my first blog for them, and my first sort of role being a Backstitch ambassador. And it is the I Am Sunshine jeans, which I'm very, very excited about sewing up. Slightly terrified because of the fit involved with jeans. It's an intermediate pattern, and you've got 2 options. There's either the tapered leg or the slouchy leg, and I'm going to sew up the slouchy leg. The versions that I've seen of this slouchy version of the I Am Sunshine are beautiful. I put an image in of what's inspired me to sew these up. I'm going to be sewing it up in a corduroy, which I'm absolutely loving the corduroy fabric, and in a few weeks I'll share more details about that fabric. I'll link Backstitch down below in case you haven't heard of them. They've got an Instagram page and they've also got an amazing website, and they've got a shop as well. So this pattern comes in sizes 36 to 46. It's an intermediate pattern. Like I said, there's 2 versions. You can do the tapered leg or you can do the slouchy fit. And then in terms of measurements, you've got a size 36, which is a bust measurement of 32¼ inches, waist measurement of 24½ inches, hip measurement of 34�5/8 inch, and then height 5'5". So it's a pattern that's aimed at somebody who is 5'5". And then for a 46, it's a 40⅛ inch bust measurement, 32¼ inch waist measurement, 42½ inch hip measurement, and then like I said, height 5'5". In terms of fabric recommendations, they recommend medium to heavyweight non-stretch woven fabric like a denim, twill, corduroy, cotton velvet, linen, gabardine, and then for the pocket lining they recommend poplin, lawn or batiste. In terms of supplies, you need the fabrics that they've recommended, interfacing, a 4¾ inch or 12 centimetre long closed end zip with metal or moulded plastic teeth. You need jeans button and then rivets as well to reinforce the pocket openings, and then top stitch thread. So I managed to get everything I need for this pattern from the Backstitch website, including the zip, the rivets and the buttons as well. So I'm really looking forward to tackling this and vlogging my sort of progress and how I get on with this pattern as well. I'm really excited about being part of the Backstitch team with all of the wonderful people that I've named too. So if you haven't followed them, I'm sure you do follow them on Instagram, but if you haven't, do head over and give them a little follow. I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody gets sewn up. So the next thing I wanted to share with you was 3 YouTube accounts that I wanted to let you know about. 2 of them are new, and there's another account that I really love following. There's lots of videos over there already, so I thought I'd let you know about all 3 of them. So the first one is the lovely Adele, who is Sew for Serenity. She takes part in the Friday Sews videos that come out weekly. She also gets the Sew Hayley Jane luxury box. So she's done an unboxing for that, and then also fabric hauls and chatty videos too. So do go and check out her channel if you haven't already. I'll link it in the description down below for you. And then Ella has just started a YouTube channel. So she is Sewist in the City over on Instagram. I absolutely love everything that Ella sews. She's got a really lovely style, and she's just published her first video on her YouTube channel. So do go and give her a follow. She makes absolutely beautiful clothes, and I'm looking forward to watching her first video. And then there's Mary Ellen, who is She Sews Happiness. So she's got a bit more of a sort of vintage vibe to her makes and also to her videos. She has shared so far sort of her she's shared so far her sewing story. She's done a January sewing diary, and she's done top 5 tips for a professional finish with your sewing. So do go and check her out if you haven't checked out her channel already. So it's She Sews Happiness, and it's the lovely Mary Ellen. And then she's also got an Instagram page too, so do go and check out her Instagram page. Finding it hard to talk at the end of this video. And then just some sewing plans. I always like to finish with what I'm planning to sew for the following week or in the next couple of weeks. So I'm definitely going to be toiling the I Am Sunshine jeans. I've cut out my Sew Hayley Jane fabric. I talked about this in my last Sunday sewing catch up. This is the latest Sew Hayley Jane fabric that survived. So I've decided to go with the Bella Loves floor dress, which I'll put line drawings in so you can see what it looks like, and also the versions that I've sewn up. I'm really excited. I think it's going to work beautifully with this gorgeous fabric. So I'm hoping to get a few little bits and bobs sewn up of this. I don't think I'll get the whole thing sewn up because it's quite an intensive make. There's quite a lot of steps when you're sewing up that dress. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to at least get the bodice sewn up with those beautiful ruffles. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to finish off my Bakerloo dress. So I just need to top stitch the bias binding around the neckline and then hem it and add a button. So I'm hoping I can get that finished. I'm going to quilt the rest of the fabric made using my scraps. And then I would hopefully like to be able to cut out my first Ilford jacket using the quilted fabric. And I've also got this gorgeous corduroy fabric that I got from Rainbow Fabrics a couple of months ago that was going to be turned into some Yanta overalls, but I've actually decided to use this fabric to sew up another of the Friday Pattern Company Ilford jackets. I love this colour. I shared last Sunday a photo that I'm using as inspiration to sew up some Yanta overalls with a white blouse underneath. It was an image that I saw on the Lucy and Yak page, and then there's also an image of a gorgeous sort of this kind of shade of corduroy jacket, which I want to pair with the white blouse that I'm going to sew up and the floral Yanta overalls that I want to sew up. If I can find the image that's inspired this Ilford jacket, I'll pop it in for you. But I'm hoping to turn this gorgeous corduroy into an Ilford jacket that I think will work really well, not just in the winter, but also in the spring and maybe in the summer as a layering piece on those chillier summer evenings. And it will definitely work for the autumn because it's got gorgeous autumn tones to it with that beautiful fabric. So I'm hoping to get that cut out, but I won't get that sewn up yet. And then the final thing I want to get cut out, but I won't get sewn up, is a Jessie Coatigan. I talked about this last Sunday. So I want to use this boucle fabric that I got as a remnant from Like So Amazing, and I want to sew this into a Jessie Coatigan by Sew Over It. I think I've got the pattern here actually to share with you. So this is the pattern. It's quite an oversized, snuggly, warm, cozy coatigan. I've sewn up a couple of versions and I wear them all the time. So I want to turn this boucle into the Jessie coatigan by Sew Over It, and this is what it looks like on the front of the pattern. It's a really straightforward pattern, so it comes together really nicely as well. So I'm looking forward to getting this cut out and then hopefully make a start on sewing that up as well. So as usual, lots and lots of sewing plans. I've been very busy sewing up lots of things this week, and I've loved all of the things that I've sewn up to. The final thing I wanted to finish with was just some suggestions from you of what you would like to see on my YouTube channel. So I do bring out a video every Wednesday, and I also bring out my Sunday sewing catch up on a Sunday. But I'd love to know what sewing vlogs you would love to see on my channel. I've got a couple of things that have been suggested to me. So I'm definitely going to film a vlog all around sewing with cotton, because it's a fabric that I love sewing with. I'm going to be filming a roundup of all of the makes that I've sewn using Sew Hayley Jane fabric. I did one of these videos probably about a year ago and it was really well received. So I'm going to film another one because I've sewn using Sew Hayley Jane fabrics since. So I'll do a roundup of what I've made using those fabrics. I'm going to do a video of tips with sewing with scrap fabric, so different projects that you could use your scrap fabrics for, because that's been requested. I'm going to do a jeans sew along, so I'm going to use the I Am Sunshine jeans, but I've also got the Sew Over It Ultimate jeans pattern. I'll put an image in of what it looks like, so I'll do a sew along for those as well. They're quite long videos to film, they take a long time to put together, so they'll be hopefully ready in about a month's time. And then I've also had a couple of requests to film a sew along of my rainbow quilted fabric bomber jacket. So I'm definitely going to do a sew along for that. I'm going to sew that jacket in the February half term when I've got a bit more time. I'm toiling it at the moment, so I'll include within that sew along how I got on with the toile and any fiddly bits that I've sort of found along the way. But I'll definitely film a sew along. But I'd really love to hear from you on what vlogs you would love from me, so please let me know in the comments below if you've got any ideas of what you would like to see, and I'll try and include them in my Wednesday sewing vlogs that come out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified when I bring out my next video. Take care, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.